Hello and welcome, I'm Tavaragadamu. Life-changing interventions in this country are happening in small circles. One such intervention is covered by Covenant Development Association, a very small NGO that shelters abandoned children. And I'm joined by its Deputy Director, Misrak, Pochi, Seifu. A very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Orphanage. You run 2 orphanages, right?
We ran 2 homes. We don't call it orphanage because we want the children to feel at home. So we usually call it homes. So we ran 2 homes in 2 different regions.
One in southern regional state, SNNPR, and one where he's just outside of Addis in Oromia.
Yeah, it's in Oromia, Holeta. Yep.
Yes, we'll talk about those 2 in some detail at some point in our discussion, in the course of this conversation. But, you're basically dealing with kids, right, in large measure, orphans.
Yeah, orphans and abandoned kids.
Abandoned children.
Yeah, abandoned kids that will be found in the woods or by the streets and anywhere. So we deal with vulnerable children and orphans.
So, are you alerted to the existence of orphans in the neighborhood or something, or you just go out and looking for them?
No, we just don't go out and look for them. The people that we work, our stakeholders, they will be like Women Affairs and police and other officials. They would bring them to us. That's how it's done. So that's how we take kids into our homes. That's how they are being referred to us. We're not allowed to go out into the street. Even if I see an abandoned kid by the street, I could not just go and pick them up. The police should be the one to do it.
Because there has to be some kind of arrangement. You just cannot...
Arrangement and process. Because like sometimes people would arrange to give us kids and then they might just abandon them someplace. So it has to be someone that would report it, that there is an abandoned children somewhere. So that's how they come and collect them and then... they will be referred to us.
I guess you are overwhelmed by the number of, number of children that you are alerted to.
Oh, yeah. There are so many, especially in the southern nations. Sometimes we find kids in the woods and in a ditch and anywhere and everywhere. It's like heartbreaking. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I've been always thinking why people do it, but I really don't know. I sometimes feel why the moms are abandoning their kids. They might have different reasons which we'll never know, but they do abandon.
But this is not something specific to the area where you're working, right? I mean, similar stories elsewhere, right?
Oh yeah. Sometimes
the pattern is pretty much similar.
Yeah, it is very similar. I think it's the depth of poverty. Mothers couldn't raise their kids, and I think. They feel the pain when they abandon the babies, but they couldn't raise them up. So that's the one reason they would abandon them. And the other is like young mothers living with their parents, going to school, and it's like they're having them out of marriage law, so they would abandon them. Yeah.
So, so you're talking about unwanted pregnancy, right?
Yes.
Do you look into the details of how this happened and stuff?
Yeah, we sometimes try to find out why this is happening, but it's been so hard to know why.
But definitely you get some clues, don't you?
Yeah.
So what would those be?
Unwanted pregnancies, as you said, one of the reasons why young mothers would abandon their kids. And the other one is like when families couldn't raise their own kids. Like they couldn't feed them. They couldn't raise them up. So they would decide to abandon them, and they know that someone will come and pick them up because they would think that if they keep them, they will die with them. Yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons why they would just abandon them, where someone will see them and pick them up. Yeah.
One of the ways of addressing this would be abortion, but it comes with some ethical issues.
Me, as a Christian, I don't go for abortion, but I think there are many babies who have been aborted like every day. But some mothers would just decide to have the babies, and then when they discover that they couldn't take care of them, they would just abandon them.
You raised a very interesting reason, because this is your belief, and you wouldn't go for abortion. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
At all. No matter in whatever stage that fetus could be, so you don't allow that. You don't want to have that.
I believe that a fetus is a human being from day one. So I always feel that however young or old the baby is, that I believe that for me, it's murdering a kid and killing a baby. So I don't go for abortion. So I'd rather have them abandon their babies where there will be people like me and others that would pick them up and take care of them and love them, rather than kill them before they're born.
Interesting. So, is this why you are in the business of saving kids who are abandoned because of the belief that you've adopted?
Well, why?
As a Christian, as you
As
just
a
said.
Christian, yeah. I started because I know this is what pleases God, and that's my passion as well, like to please God. And if you have read the Bible in James 1:27, it says like true worship and pure religion is taking care of orphans and widows. So that's the starting point of this ministry that we're running.
And it's called the Covenant Development Association.
Yeah, it's called Covenant Development Association.
You established it back in '05, right?
March 2005. It was established by Covenant Church, by the way. It's called Al-Qidan Beta Christian. So it was started by the pastors of Al-Qidan Beta Christian, like almost 13 years ago.
13 years ago.
Yeah.
So you have incorporated this here in Addis Ababa.
Yeah, it was started here in Addis Ababa.
So what you basically do is bring abandoned kids that are brought to your attention by the police or the administration over to your fold and do what? Is it some kind of institutional care that you have?
Well, I don't call it an institution care. I don't know, because we...
Well, I would say it is, because you run it. You have a building, you have dormitories, you cater for the kids' needs. I think you feed them, you send them to school and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do that.
What else could you
we
call it?
prefer not to call it institution because we keep it very small. The maximum number in our care would be 12 children at a time in a home. So when we care, like that's the maximum number that we will be taking in. We won't take more than that because it will not be a home anymore. So we decided, like we were thinking, what would be an Ethiopian family? What would it look like? So we decided, like...
It depends between 2 and 12, yes.
Yeah, especially the ones, like, all times they were, like, big families where there were 12. So we decided, like let's just keep it up to 12. And then let's see it, like, let's care for them as their home and let us be their parents, their families. So that's how we keep it. So we usually don't call it institution or orphanage. We always call it home. And the kids really love it when we call it a home. This is their home and we are their parents. That's why we call it.
Okay. So how many homes do you have, you said?
Two
You said
homes.
you have two
Yeah.
I mean, you said two homes. One in
Yeah.
Addis and one just
One
outside
in
of Addis.
Holeta.
Holeta just outside of Addis. And
the other
one
is in
in
Shone.
in southern SNNP, southern region. So you have only, what, 24 kids? Is that what you said?
22 kids. Currently, we have 22 kids. Starting.
Well, I just wonder, why are you even interested in running this institution? You just it's just a drop in the ocean. 22 kids in 13 years.
Not 22 kids in 13 years. There have been like many kids that have been coming into the home. But at a time, we kept it 13. But we've been doing adoption. And we have...
Okay, we'll go we'll talk about the adoption a bit shortly. So, how many kids have come to your fold?
Almost 100 within the 13 years.
100.
100. They would come up to 100 kids.
They come as young as what? You said
young as a day old.
A day old.
A day old or hours old. If they come from like if they're abandoned in a hospital, they usually come like the youngest we had was like 5 hours old. So they might be a 5-hour-old baby, and there might be like the oldest that we had was like an 11-year-old. So that's the age that kids have been coming to our attention. Yeah.
So what do they get there? They get basically
shelter.
decent,
Yeah, food, clothes, education, medication, and above all, love. Yeah.
So you send them to the nearest school.
Yeah.
You don't run your own.
Oh no, we don't have. Well, like in our organization, we do we have 2 different homes where we care for abandoned and orphan kids, but we work with the community as well, like where we do child sponsorship program where we sponsor 150 children in 4 2 regions and 4 zones, and plus we support a school. It's a public school, and it's an elementary school. And in the elementary school, we support a kindergarten where there are 140 kids.
Wow.
So, yeah, we do more than just caring for orphans in our homes.
So do you run? You said kindergarten, right?
Yeah, we don't run. Yeah, we do run it. It's owned by the school. It's called Coletta Primary School. And we help them with running the kindergarten. We have hired teachers, 6 teachers, and we feed the kids a meal a day, and we teach them, we give them the basic education.
There have been cases where parents, biological parents, came to your institution to reclaim their kids?
Not really, just once. Now, there are no biological parents, but there was once a relative that he was his uncle, so he decided, and then he came, and then he took him back. But that was the only incident.
They're not all are not orphans, are they?
No, some of them, most
just
of them,
abandoned, and
most of them are abandoned. Some are orphaned, but the orphaned ones, the close relatives, couldn't care for them. They are too poor. Yeah. So that's why they end up with us.
But are they able to track them where they are and so on and so forth? I mean, their biological parents, I guess they would. They would be, or even the biological parents.
The biological parents, we never had biological parents that are alive at our homes. But the close relatives that have been the one that they relinquished the children into the homes can follow them up. We've been doing that, even the adopted ones that have been adopted in different countries, they have been coming back and visiting them. Okay. Yeah, we've been encouraging that a lot.
So you have also projects in schemes that you have developed, in the economic sense of the term, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you run some workshops, I guess.
Yeah, what we do is we have a program that we call Family Empowerment Program. That one is for children that are in the child sponsorship program, where there are really, really poor families that couldn't send their kids to school. So we help them by supporting them every month, giving them financial support, buying uniforms, school material, clothes, uniforms, and school bags and everything to make sure that the kids are going to school and getting their education. So we don't want the kids always to be dependent on us. So what we do is we have this program that we call Family Empowerment Program, where we have a small-scale business, and then we establish them in a small-scale business. And then with that small-scale business, the family would have their own small business where they will be able to send their own kids to school. So that's one of the things that we do.
So this is in the communities that you work with?
Yeah, in the community that we work in.
Right. Yeah. When did you start that? I mean, I guess
we started 13 years ago, but
this particular scheme?
7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah. We've done that. In Ambo, there were 25 families that we have established in business, and in Walaita, 23 families that we have also established in business, and in Shawnee, we have established around 3 families in business.
So I would guess that in the last 30 years, you must have had a few of your kids must have made it to the university.
Oh, yes, they did.
Tell me about that.
Oh, in the States, the ones that have been adopted and
I'm talking about the kids that you've sheltered in your homes.
Oh, kids that grew up with us?
Yes.
Not really, because one of the things that we really do is we find them families, because we want kids to have the sense of belonging. So we believe that kids should grow in a family. So what we do is find families for kids to be in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's follow that line of conversation. You're talking about local adoption, right?
Local adoption. Yeah.
Is that a popular thing in Ethiopia?
I found out in Ethiopia it's not very popular. I've discussed this with many people, many parents, many families that were really interested to adopt. But what I found out is in Ethiopia they usually don't want the kids to inherit whatever they have. They want to inherit their property or whatever they have to their biological children. So it's been really, really hard. Like adoption in Ethiopia has a different face than the one that I know in the international adoption. Yeah.
But then minus that, families tend to raise kids that they have adopted.
Yeah.
I mean, the only problem that you have with them is that they don't include them in their wills, right?
Yeah, they don't include them in their wills, but you know that I believe that it's the sense of belonging for a kid to discover that they're not like part of the will with the other biological children. That hurts them a lot. So,
have you run into one, for example?
oh yeah, oh yeah. Someone told me, a lady once told me that she grew up in a family, and then this is not someone that been adopted from us, but it's an older person that been telling me about her story. She told me that she was adopted into this family. She grew up and then her dad passed away. And when her dad passed away, she discovered that she wasn't part of the family because she was the only one that wasn't included in the will. And that really, really hurt her. Yeah, so when we raise our kids, by the way, the kids that we raise at our homes, we call them our kids. And we're so blessed because they call me Mama, which is a very big blessing to me. And so, yeah, we don't want them to feel that way. We don't want them to feel that they've been neglected, that they're not loved. So we want them to have that sense of belonging in a family. It's not about the material thing. It's not about just the will. It's not about the inheritance. It's just the sense of belonging for a child. That's what we think about.
I guess the government in the last few years, I think it's the Ministry of Women
and Children Affairs,
and Children Affairs,
and Youth
big on local adoption, right?
Yes, yes.
So how far have they come along that line?
Well, I really don't know. I've been trying to encourage many people in Ethiopia if they could adopt kids. And there are so many reasons that they would be giving you that they don't want to adopt a child. They'd rather have their own child. That's how they put it. I've seen like people are coming nowadays and are being interested and starting to adopt, but it's not an easy thing in Ethiopia. That's what I have seen.
But you're encouraging families to adopt the kids.
Because it's joy. It's joy to take someone that doesn't have anybody and take them into your homes and love them and make them one of yours. That's a big joy.
You've stated the difficulty of doing so from the side of Ethiopian families, but have you succeeded on your part to entice, to encourage Ethiopian families to adopt Ethiopian kids?
Yeah, I have succeeded. I have friends that have adopted from us fully with a full adoption, and I have seen them loving the kids as their own. And some numbers of families have adopted from us, and yeah.
But you have to institutionalize that, right? You have to go beyond friends and family to be able, to go ahead and adopt kids.
Yeah, that's what we do. Like, we're a small circle, and then we're not a big organization, and it all started with, as I told you.
But big things happen in small circles.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right. Our contacts are not that big, and our acquaintances is very small. So that's why we've kept this very small. But yeah, the families that have come to us.
Resource, that is a big question, right?
Yeah.
How do you mobilize your resources?
We've never had anybody that funded this organization before, but it's been supported by different friends and in-country and abroad. Friends and families have been the ones that have been supporting this organization for the last 13 years, and members of Covenant Church.
It's been a few years since international adoption has been banned in Ethiopia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Well,
been, like,
before
few
that,
years.
you've done
international
international adoptions,
Oh, yeah,
although
yeah.
that wasn't a big part of what you do.
No, it wasn't big part of what we've been doing, but we've done some adoption, like
International adoptions.
Yeah.
How many kids have you?
around 50 kids.
Okay. And where are they now? Do you
They're
follow?
all like all the kids that have been adopted from us are all over the states. Just the states that the people that adopted from us are like people that came through different acquaintances. So they're all in the states.
But not all is rosy, because we have heard ugly stories coming from the U.S.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. But like the kids that have been adopted from us, all of them are in good hands. I've heard so many ugly stories, and I have been following different stories that have been on different medias about kids being abused and stuff. But the kids that have been adopted from Covenant have done really, really well, because we do good follow-ups where they are, and we're still in touch with the families and the kids as well, because there are some of the kids that have been adopted from us were infants, so we do follow up with the families. But the other ones are older kids, and then we're in touch with them.
So, is the government intending to lift? Just wanted to hear from your side what the government is planning to do as far as international adoptions are concerned. Are they lifting the ban, or is it going to be around for a while?
I really don't know about that, but
You don't inquire? You don't?
I don't know, but I wish and I pray that the ban will be lifted, because there are so many kids, so many children out there that need families. Even if we do a lot of local adoption, I don't think we can do it. There are around 4.8 or 4.9 million orphans in the country. So I don't think we will be able to do all that.
International adoption for many years had come with some kind of ugly side to it.
Yeah.
You know that.
I believe
you know
that.
that.
I believe that.
And the companies involved in this transaction have made plenty of money.
Oh, yeah.
And in the process of making money, ethics has been sidelined. Ethics has been,
Yeah, there are so many ugly stories out there. Yeah. And
so there is a rationale. There is why the government put that moratorium.
Yeah, I know, and I believe, and I am all for it. But the only reason that I say that the ban should be lifted is because, we have so many in our hands. The local adoption, I am first and primarily am for local adoption. I want all Ethiopians to come forward and adopt kids, because I believe that kids should be adopted in their own language, their own color, their own culture. But if that's not the reason right now, and if people are not coming out to adopt, we should do at least for a few more years international adoption.
Well, we'll see. Thank you very much indeed for joining me to talk about a very interesting subject. Thank you very much indeed, Pochi.
Thank you for inviting me.